You are in big trouble.
What are these? Are these for pizza?
Slice plates. Oh yeah, try something different today. Don't worry, not enough to hurt you. I promise. I feel like you're always worried.
Mom, come pick me up on the street.
I know, about like getting hurt or something. All right, we will start in the middle, kind of take the position that you are comfortable with. Either just legs crossed, legs out, on your knees, standing up, doesn't really matter. Laying down. Don't fall asleep. Start with a few big deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Feel that core engage as you breathe that air out. Breathe that air in. Let chest rise. Feel your belly rise. Use these big breaths to kind of calm your nervous system and set the intention for the rest of the day. Easy in here saying, like, I'm distracted by the noisiness. All right, we are going to start out with your bands, so carefully grab your bands. We're going to start out looping it around to the bottom of your feet, and then carefully bringing your feet up, applying a little bit of a tension to that band, either grabbing the handles or grabbing further up on the band. Just start by gently pulling those legs back towards your forehead. And nice stretch to the back side of both legs. And go ahead and take one foot out, set it down on the ground, so it's laying down nice and flat. Then with the leg that's still up in the air, you're going to use that band to assist you in going up and down with that leg. We're just kind of creating some mobility back into that leg, feeling a nice stretch on the back side into that hamstring. We're just going to do a few of them right here, nothing too crazy. If you do not need the assist of that band, you can also set the band down. It's kind of up to you. And from there, same leg, we're going to go side to side, so letting that leg fall out and then letting it fall across. Keeping the hips down on the ground, even though that leg is going across, it can only go as far as what your hips stay down on the ground. Feeling that stretch on the outside of the leg and on the inside of the thigh. Go ahead, bring that leg to the top. Bring that other foot back up so both feet are in the band. Give it a gentle stretch, pulling those toes back towards your forehead. We're all at different levels of flexibility, so it doesn't really matter how far you go, just as long as you feel a gentle stretch. Go ahead and take the other foot out, lay it down on the ground, and just start going up and down with that leg, using that band to assist as much as you need. Feeling a nice stretch to the back side, leg, taking note, leg tighter, looser, thinner, whatever. You need to give this side more attention, or you need to give the other side more attention later. I need to give this side more attention later, apparently. And then going side to side, across the body, and then letting the leg fall to the outside. Keeping those hips down on the ground, only going as far as what the hips kind of let you go. Using that band to assist you, kind of go at your own pace here, own control. top. You're going to, so you can apply as much tension as you want to that band. And then you're gonna start pulsing those heels the outside. To start, we're just gonna keep our neck and shoulders down on the ground, kind of focusing just on the outside of the hips there. Bad right now. Keep pulsing. Our ankles are staying nice and strong. Trying to get our legs as straight as what we can up to the ceiling. But then we are all different. Some of us might have a soft bend in our knee. That's okay. Keeping those legs up in the air, just let that band fall down to the ground. We're going to bring our shoulder blades up off the ground. You can use your hands to support your neck if you need to, going like side to side with your hands. We're going to go, if you can do both hands, that's awesome. We're going to go into just the Pilates 100. So bring that belly button down and in. Gently pressing that lower back down into the ground. Just pulsing those hands up and down. Take a peek at the mirror. See how high you're getting that shoulder blades up off the ground. But you're not using your neck to lift your shoulder blades. We're using your core. So thinking rib cage to top of the hip bone. Again, we might not all get our legs going straight up to the ceiling, so a soft bend or a bent knee is totally fine. And lots of variation in this exercise. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and find your little slider. We're going to practice with it to start. Just use one of them to start. You want the shiny side down because I tried it with this side and this side just does not slide on the floor. So shiny side down. We're going to put one heel on the slider. I'm going to bring myself kind of to the end of my mat so that I have good sliding room here on the hard floor. So pressing up into bridge, just with one leg here, you're going to slide it out and bring it back. Now your goal here is to keep your hips nice and level as you extend that sliding leg. So that opposite leg that's just planted in the ground right now, that glute should be working pretty hard to keep everything nice and level and stable in your hips. Feel that hamstring as you pull that slider back towards your butt. And feel that core as it holds you nice and level and stable. Let's do 5 more. So here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to lower back down carefully and switch feet with the slider. Make sure you get that heel in the middle of that slider. You're going to bring it back up into bridge. Start on the other side. Again, keeping those hips nice and level. So while you're doing it, take a look down at your hip bones. Are they shifting? Are they moving? Are they staying level with the floor? We want them to stay level. You're going to really feel it in that opposite hip as it holds you up, and then you're going to really feel it in your core and your hamstring. Pull that leg back. worried about how many of them you do. That you focus on really good form. Focus on activating the correct muscle groups. We don't want to feel this in our back. If you're feeling it in your back, just kind of go a little bit lower. Make sure you're tucking that tailbone under. Go for 5 more good ones. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Go ahead. Lower back down. Shift yourself back on your back. Yourself in a full body stretch, reaching long. All right, back to that band, grabbing that band, and getting that over your feet, bringing those legs up, making sure it's nice and secure before pulling too hard on that band, trying to get those legs right up towards the ceiling, starting to pulse towards the outside. What's the air that I'm hearing? Like I'm hearing it running on the ceiling. Like really raining that hard outside. I think it's like raining that hard.
It might be.
It's kind of crazy.
100% chance all day.
Oh, lovely.
But it's supposed to be like 80 starting next week. Oh yeah.
I know it's in the 80s. I don't even know if I know what to do.
Oh, it's
Go for 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. Carefully set that hand down. Then bringing those legs back up straight or slightly bent again. Those are all great options. Hands out. Raising up that neck. Shoulders up off the ground. We're going to start pulsing our hands down towards the ground. You can take a peek in the mirror, see how high you're getting. Shoulder blades up. Thinking about rib cage to hip bone, and then that belly button is going in and up. So many things to think about, but if you think about all those things, you'll definitely get some forward no matter what. There's 80, so 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, just like that, we're already up to 200 of those. Nice. All right, scooting yourself down again towards the edge of that mat. We're going to go back into that bridge position. We're going to play with that slider again. So this time, bringing yourself up into bridge, you're going to go out and over and in. Then back to the center. Out, over, in, back to the center. And it's like tracing a little square down there on the ground. Again, you're really going to feel this in the stabilizing hip, the one that's holding you up. Remember to keep that tailbone tucked under. Keeping the hip bones nice and stable. And go at your pace. Really Focus on making a nice sharp square with your foot. Focus on the muscles that you've activated right now. Stay in a good position. Keeping those ribs down. There we go. Let's do two more really good ones. All right, go ahead and lower it down. Which side? Get that little slider under your other heel. Bringing yourself back up into bridge. Making that little square with your heel. Really focusing on keeping that tailbone tucked under, core is engaged. Is engaged. Two more really good ones. Very nice. Go ahead, come back down to your mat. Yourself a nice little full body stretch, reaching long from your fingers to your toes. Feel that arch in your spine. Lower back lifts up off the ground. Breathe. All right. We're going to bring it back up. We're going to pull it around. And we're going to go on to all fours. So if you have your light set of weights, kind of bring those nearby. I'm just going to set them on the corners of the mat right here so that they're handy. We're not going to put them on our back and do that one too. Oh, I thought about it. All right. Starting with just our hands planted and our feet planted, we're going to go into a tricep kickback. So just we'll bend in that elbow and we'll snap back, squeezing that tricep at the top. Go for 10 more. Here's the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and switch sides, grabbing that weight from the other side, and that elbow here, check your posture. Go for 10 more, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Add some weights on the corners. You can go wide knee, sit back in the child's pose. Pressing those hands down into the mat if you need to get a deeper stretch into that back. Going to bring it back up onto all fours. We're going to do a little heel pulse towards the ceiling, using the mirror to check our posture. So trying to keep our lower back in a kind of a neutral position, not like overly extended, really focusing on the movement coming from the glute as our heel pulses towards the ceiling. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And switch sides. Twenty, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, sit back into child's pose. Bringing it back up onto all fours. Can't forget about those triceps. After those triceps one more time. So bend and extend. Ten more. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And switch sides. And 10 more. There's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's sit back into child pose. Bringing it back up onto all fours. This time we're going to go leg out straight. But if you feel like with the leg out straight that you are not getting the glute or that you are feeling it too much in your back, then go back to having a bent knee, because having the leg out just makes a lot longer lever for you to have to work with. So pulsing, same thing, pulsing up towards the ceiling, but really trying to focus on that glute. So if you think you're not finding your glute, then go back to having that knee bent. Core is engaged.
Toes down or toes out.
Toes down. It doesn't have to be fast, and it doesn't have to be a big movement. So I'm not looking for like all the way up here. It could just be a little, like, almost like think like the only movement that is happening is because you're squeezing your butt. Go for 10 more. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And switch sides. Here, check your posture if you need to. Here will help too. Like if you think that you're starting to feel it maybe in your back, look and see if your back started to kind of arch down. Bring yourself back up using that core. Go for 10 more. So here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that one is a little bit more advanced, having the legs straight. But in our day, you can go back to the child's pose. Our glutes is kind of what falls asleep when we're sitting in our chair so much. And from child's pose, we're going to go into pigeon. We're going to bring one knee forward, feel a nice stretch. You can be up here on your hands, or you can come down to your elbows, or you can go flat out on the floor, wherever your flexibility lets you go. We're all going to be different here. We're all going to be different depending on the day, too. Some days it's like, oh, just feel like you can melt into the floor, and then other days it's like, oh, we're the Tin Man. It's not happening. And switch sides. Taking note, does one side feel tighter than the other? Do we need to give one side a little bit of more attention later? Oh, I know I need to give my left side like far more attention than what I give it. Feeling kind of that stretch might feel a little bit on the inside of your leg, but like way up to the side of your hip here. Remembering to breathe. Now, careful coming up. I'm noticing for some reason that my shoes are really slippery on the ground today. So I'm just gonna try to get the dust off my shoes so that I can go into downward dog. So heels are going down towards the ground. Sit bones are going up towards the ceiling. Head is between our elbows. So our heels might not touch the ground. That's okay. They're just going in that direction. Is what we're looking for. And then you're going to carefully walk yourself back, bending your knees if you need to. Single shoulder so you find yourself in a forward fold. Rolling up to the top very slowly. Oh, taking a nice big reach. And then we're going to add a little squat. And bringing ourselves back up. We're going to roll ourselves back down to the floor. Using our shoulders. Hands to walk ourselves back out. Bending your knees as what is comfortable for you. Going down to your knees or from your toes. You choose. We're going to do a push-up. And then we're going to go back to our toes. We're going to hold it in plank here for just a second. And we're going to go back down to our knees or from our toes, your choice. We're going to do another push-up. Come back up, back into plank, big belly button to spine. Knees or toes, push-up. And then walk ourselves back with our hands. So we find ourselves in forward fold, feeling a nice stretch in the back side of our legs, soft bend in the knees. Pull all the way up. Oh, one more. We're going to walk ourselves back out, soft bend in the knee if you need it. Knees or toes, your choice. Push up. Plank. Also stay on your knees and do your plank from your knees as well. That's just fine. Knees or toes. Push up. And plank. One more. Knees or toes. Push up. Back into plank. Just for a second so that we can walk ourselves back to downward dog. Doing that nice stretch all through the back side of our legs. And we're going to walk ourselves all the way back up to standing. We're going to grab our weights. We're going to finish. Oh, I can't fill the screens. Let's come way over here. We're going to finish one super simple exercise. That's just going to be good for our posture, but oh, it's a burner. So we're going to start with our hands out wide. We're going to squeeze shoulder blades together. That's it. There's nothing else to this one. Squeeze both shoulder blades together behind you. Kind of like I was like coming around and like putting my fingers between your shoulder blades and you were trying to like squish my fingers back there. Squeezing. Like, how many you ask? A bunch of them. So hopefully when we return to our desks after doing this, you know, we're more upright.
You know, it's the slouch all day.
Yeah, it's just because of you.
It's fun.
Terrible podcast. It was inspired by you.
Right.
No, it's actually
Next time, let's-
my own style. Sorry. Like, I feel like I'm always like watching more. Don't forget about that core. That core is lightly engaged as it holds us nice and upright. We're going to turn sideways and look in the mirror. It could be ears, shoulders, hips, ankles. They would all be nicely lined up. Do 5 more. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. Set down your weights. Put down your weights. Just one little stretch here. Let's get into that back. Pulling that arm across. Breathe. Gentle stretch. Yes. Oh, fantastic. Just like that, we're out of time. Continue to stretch for exercise action. Repeat or what? That's all I had for you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are welcome.